The following topic is courtesy of essaywriter.com, and it's one that I've had revolving in my mind for some time because I wanted to address it from as many different directions as possible, but I think I want to limit it to the things that I personally have experienced as opposed to trying to imagine additional consequences to it. What is your opinion about this statement? People have to sometimes do things that they do not necessarily enjoy. Well, let me tell you that I live that sometimes pretty much permanently, pretty much every day. For starters, my job, I no longer like it, I no longer enjoy it. But the reason I continue to do it is because it enables me to do things that I feel I otherwise wouldn't be able to do. It is a sacrifice that I must make, the price that I must pay to do what I really want to do. And the stuff that I would like to do is have time for the stuff that I have going on the side. Although the side stuff is what I would like to make my full time, but cannot be my full time, at least I don't have to be as absolutely condemned to the misery that is my job permanently. And at least I have the side stuff to look forward to because at least it's stuff that I find fun. And even though it can get tedious sometimes, at least I can say that I still enjoy it just as much as I enjoy sitting on the driver's side of my car to this day. I think that as a kid, one of the things that I used to resent the most was being deprived of doing something that I really wanted to do, and instead being assigned to do something I didn't want to do. For instance, I'm grateful that my mom definitely pushed me to brush my teeth when I was supposed to, pushed me to take a shower when I was supposed to. I wasn't that kid who didn't necessarily find grooming gross or anything. It was just that when I started doing something that I enjoyed, such as playing video games, you guys know me, I have a hyper focus. As a kid, I have had that hyper focus. If I'm playing a game and I'm focused on playing a game, leave me alone. Because if you disrupt that, I don't know what it is about disrupting the flow in me that thing just brings out the worst attitude in me. But of course, as a child, you need to be guided and you need to be instructed since you don't know everything that, hey, being fixated on things is not good for you because while you do that, other stuff is being neglected. I guess as someone who never found school particularly challenging until I got to, I want to say, the 11th grade or around 10th grade, there were some classes that I can say, okay, math particularly became challenging. Then I felt like I was at the pinnacle all the time with my school experience. When you are at that level, you feel like you can rule. You feel like you're the boss because you're at that summit and you just look around and it's like, okay, I'm here by myself, nobody else is here. So, as someone who's up here and nobody else is here, who's there to tell me otherwise? Does that make sense? So, as a kid, it was nice that I had a balance, I feel. Mom would expect for us to mow the lawn and things like that when we had a house, but at least it was something that had an ending in sight. I think that doing something that you do not necessarily enjoy is fine as long as you can anticipate the ending, as long as the ending is in sight. But if you do something for an extended period of time that you don't like to do and you do not see the end to it, you cannot anticipate getting away from it, I think that is where the danger lies. I think that is where the frustration comes from. And I don't know about you guys, but as much as I like to fly, there comes a point in which I'm like, okay, I'm in a plane and I don't do this often. So let me just enjoy it. At some point, when the window doesn't really show me anything, if you're on the side of the plane that maybe faces a coastline, there's really not much to see. If you're trapped in a situation like that for multiple hours, you might be like, okay, all I see is endless blue. At what point can I anticipate that I'm gonna get off this thing? Even if I have the amount of time left in a flight in front of me. And even if I know that, okay, this is a flight that is supposed to take an hour and 10 minutes, it's about to be an hour since we've flown. If I'm not hearing announcements of where we're at, suddenly it's like, okay, being in this freaking plane definitely has felt like a long time. I'm ready to get up, I'm ready to move. It also doesn't help that I'm someone who's energetic and I'm constantly moving. So at what point can I anticipate that this plane is gonna bring me down to land, down to earth? As an adult, I think that because we don't have the flexibility that children have, which is, you know, that a child can only handle so much. As an adult, you're expected to be able to handle just everything, to just take it. Well, when there's no ending in sight for you to upgrade to a better job, that becomes frustrating. When you have to have a car loan, I hated my car loan, every single bit of it. But then I thought to myself, well, at least I have the privilege of landing the car that I wanted, exactly how I wanted it. And to this day, I don't have a negative thing to say about it. And I had to commit for all those years to that stupid debt. But at least I created a plan and I said, okay, this does have an ending in sight. And it was great. The ending to that car loan, the ending to that debt felt exactly as I thought it would. It was freeing, it was liberating. I felt like I could enjoy driving the car more because, as opposed to depriving myself of going places in the name of saving a couple of cents in gas, a couple of dollars in maintenance that may come sooner, at least I said, well, you know what? I made the investment and I can say I have enjoyed it. That's the kind of commitment that you see the ending in sight, but then you also remember constantly why you're doing it. You actually get to experience what it is that you're doing it for. And it's the kind of thing that helps mitigate that feeling, that miserable feeling. Another thing that I say that I do that I don't necessarily enjoy is, of course, when I have to find myself in a social kind of setting. And by social, I mean that I'm not surrounded by people that I'm used to, or surrounded by people who I can say, oh yeah, we're tight. It's like I should be taking that opportunity to establish a new connection, create a new one. But for me, handling a social circle is already stressful and overwhelming as it is. So for me to add more to that list isn't exactly my idea of fun. At least I know as well that that has an ending in sight, and that given that I have the talent, which I think should be inherent to everybody, of observing, I always can create a way to entertain myself from just being present in a place that I'm regularly not present in. It does suck when I don't have a control of the environment. Say, whenever someone whips out the smoking device, whatever kind it is, and whips out the drinks, it's like, I'm ready to go. This is not my place for me. But sometimes I like to hang out because there are individuals who partake in those activities that I genuinely care for. And just because that's their habit, I don't want to completely be like, okay, well, since you do that, I'm going to discriminate against you, and this has to be the end of our friendship, the end of our acquaintanceship, or perhaps the end of our potential for this to develop into something more than just a superficial friendship. I think that this is inherent for everybody. Everybody is doing things that they do not necessarily enjoy. I got a good feeling that the spot where we're all going to agree and see eye to eye is, yeah, when you're doing something that you don't necessarily like, it's a relief to know that it'll end at some point. But when you're in a situation in which you cannot really look at the calendar and be like, okay, I'm this many days away from so and so being over, something like that, I think that's when the frustration starts seeping in and settling, and that's the part that becomes upsetting. So I think that doing things that you don't necessarily enjoy is part of the rule of being alive, I guess. But I think that we need to develop timelines of what we deem acceptable. And that's the part where I'm at. I told myself, I'm going to hate this job. I already hate it. I'm at that point. But at the very least, I'm like, I see it's ending in sight daily, at least, in which at least I don't have to be full time at that place because I get to have a supplemental thing going on the side. But when I'm there, I'm like, dang it, I hate that I have to do this for a prolonged period of time. I still have to show up multiple times per day for long hours in my day, and I experience its consequences mentally, emotionally, and physically. And because it has been happening to me for many, many years now, that's the part where I feel it's becoming unhealthy. But at the same time, I tell myself, well, maybe this is what I have to do to keep working toward what I actually do want. And it doesn't feel like such a high price to pay considering that I have gained little things that matter. Because let's say that I quit my regular job tomorrow to start at a new one. Then what? I will probably lose the amount of money that I make. I will miss out on that tiny bit of benefits that I have, such as the time off that I have accrued, for example. To me, that's important. Just the overall confidence that I experience because I know my job well. I know what to expect. I know what to anticipate. Whereas starting somewhere new, it's like, okay, I'm throwing myself into an unknown. It is preferred that you devote additional time to a new place so that you can level up a little quicker, a little sooner. And I'm like, I have never had a job to compete. I've never had a job to move up or anything. So what is the point of me starting somewhere new if I don't have the ambition of moving up? I think that if you have that mindset of I'm here to grind, reach the stars at what I do, then it's proper for you to devote extra time, even from your personal time, devote extra time to create connections that may help you at growing and succeeding. But that's not what I'm there for. I'm not going anywhere for that. I hope that this topic made sense, my take on it, because honestly, this is why I kept repeating it during my rambling. I really think that it's all a matter of you can do something that you don't necessarily enjoy, but at least you know that you're not trapped in it. You know when it'll end. But when you don't know when it'll end, that's when it turns into a bad thing. Another example I can give is the gym. I hate the gym with every fiber of my being. I just hate the noise, I hate the crowds, I hate the setting, I hate the nastiness that I encounter here and there. But at least I know that it has an ending in sight and I do enjoy what it does for me. Even though I'm not necessarily getting stronger, and even though I'm susceptible to injuring myself, at least physically, it helps me maintain a shape that I find more useful than not. Like I can at least move independently. And I also feel like I'm saving money because I get to fit in my clothes forever and not have to, oh my God, I grew 2 sizes. Now I have to buy new things and that type of thing. That's not a problem that I have. I can still fit into some of my childhood clothes. So that's the good thing about consistency. At least with the gym, it's like I can do whatever I feel like doing. If I want to have an infinite stamina at cardio, but I can't necessarily lift 20 pounds above my head, above my shoulders, then whatever, who cares? It's not like that's hindering me from getting my job done. And it's not expected for me to have that extreme strength anyway, because at least I'm a member of a team. It's not like, oh, asking for help is going to get me in trouble. Nothing like that. But at the same time, that's kind of bad because I wish I had the incentive of training that more. But I'm like, I would rather be weak but not be injured than injuring myself, risk it being permanent. And, I hate living with pain. That happened in the name of me trying to be a little stronger when I didn't have to, when I didn't need to. It was just, well, I just want to be able to say that I can do it or show that I can do it. No, I would rather just keep my health, keep my weakness, but at least I'm not strong by paying with pain. See what I mean? Because, nothing makes me grumpier than feeling some kind of pain. Well, there you guys have it. Thank you so much for tuning in. And Let me know your thoughts. Let me know how you feel about this one.